FIFA, or the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, is the governing body in global football, and has been for 120 years. Since then, every organised part of the world's biggest sport, from the World Cup to the very rules of the game, have been under the banner of this one organisation, based in Zurich, Switzerland. But here's the kicker. In recent years, FIFA's name has been dragged through the mud, with widespread accusations of corruption within the sport. These have rocked the football world to the core, and have led to the organisation's name being damaged for many soccer fans across the globe. This is the 18-yard box, and we are here to talk about the scandals that have damaged the name of FIFA and global soccer. As mentioned, FIFA is the global overseer of soccer and has been since 1904, when many of the top football associations in Europe decided to combine forces and create their own joint organisation, uniting top-level football for the first time. From this point, FIFA was in charge of organising international football, which most importantly meant its crown jewel, the FIFA World Cup. Every 4 years, countries across the globe bid on the prestigious right to host the tournament and put the eyes of the footballing world on them for 4 weeks in the summer. For decades, the tournament would be held in Europe or the Americas, the traditional homes of soccer and the home countries of many of the FIFA members. They would take the tournaments to places with guaranteed, long-time passionate fans in places such as Spain, Argentina or Germany. Then, in 1998, enter Sepp Blatter, the man with a plan, or so we thought. After watching the success of the 1994 and 2002 World Cups in the USA, South Korea and Japan respectively, Blatter thought it was time to expand the tournament to new horizons. This ultimately leads us to the arrival of the biggest FIFA scandal of recent times, the awarding of the 2018 and 2022 FIFA World Cups. Now, there was ultimately far more to be uncovered, but even in December 2010, there were many eyebrows raised when consecutive World Cups were awarded to Russia and Qatar, ahead of nations such as England and the USA, whom many had considered to be favourites for these, especially with England having not hosted since 1966. Just days before the World Cup bids were announced, the BBC dropped a bombshell documentary spilling the tea on FIFA's alleged corruption, suggesting that bribes were involved in the awarding of broadcasting rights for tournaments and that ticket touting had been occurring at the organisation, all under the watch of Blatter. Many had suspected for years that FIFA was corrupt, but this documentary looked to show clearly that FIFA was an association that didn't exactly deal in fair play, and that things like hosting of tournaments or the ownership of broadcasting rights were available to the highest bidder. Qatar, in particular, being awarded a Summer World Cup perplexed many, and especially infuriated the Australian and American delegations, who were unconvinced that Qatar's air-conditioned stadiums would be sufficient for hosting a tournament in the Arabian Peninsula in June and July. Ultimately, FIFA would be caught up in their biggest ever scandal in 2015, one brought forward by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI, which blew the lid on all of this and much more at the top of the world's biggest sport. Whilst the reality of how World Cups were handed out was the biggest headline for many, much of the biggest controversy centred around the television, marketing and media rights to FIFA-sanctioned games in the Americas, with bribery and fraud highly suspected by many involved. To begin with, the investigation was around high-ranking CONCACAF official Chuck Blazer, who had been suspected of various financial crimes for years. Blazer had for many years allegedly failed to file personal tax returns, which raised further suspicions from the powers that be running the investigations. This particular investigation led to Blazer pleading guilty to 10 separate charges, ranging from fraud, money laundering, and the most serious charge of all, racketeering. This was a blow to FIFA's already crumbling reputation, but it was about to get a lot worse. It turns out that Blatter had been an informant for the FBI and the IRS, and had been crucial to furthering their investigations of Blatter and his organization. Between 2013 and 2015, it became clear to the FBI that there was much more to uncover at FIFA, leading them to build a comprehensive case that blew the lid off the whole operation in May 2015. Signs of corruption emerged even as early as 2011, when a whistleblower called 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤 suggested that the Qatar 2022 bid had paid $1.5 million in bribes in order to secure the bid. This has, however, been denied by the alleged recipients of these bribes. The day of reckoning for those involved would soon arrive, though. On May 27, 2015, the FBI made their move, arresting several extremely high-profile FIFA executives on corruption charges. This included infamous CONCACAF president Jack Warner, who was also a member of parliament in Trinidad and Tobago. Warner had faced corruption allegations for years, including for ticket touting at the 2006 FIFA World Cup in Germany. Now, faced with a substantial rap sheet of corruption varying from money laundering, bribery over television rights, and arguably most seriously, the mishandling of funds meant for victims of the Haiti earthquake, Warner was arrested and ultimately banned from football-related activity for life. Of course, Warner was far from the only one accused of this kind of activity. The aforementioned Blatter pleaded guilty, but he would ultimately pass away before he faced any sentencing. In total, 18 officials were indicted on charges, leading Blatter himself to announce his resignation just days after these events. It had also emerged that former FIFA Secretary-General 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐞 had received bribes relating to the 2010 South Africa World Cup, which would lead to his departure from FIFA as well later that year. All in all, this was a serious black mark for FIFA and confirmed what many had thought for years, that the sport's governing body was far from squeaky clean. But whilst it was, and is, often suggested that the awarding of the 2018 and 2022 World Cups was down to bribery and corruption, both of these went ahead, including a move of the Qatari edition to the winter. In the aftermath of this, FIFA did see substantial upheaval, most notably the expulsion of Blatter as president in October 2015, ending a tumultuous and controversial 17-year reign. Blatter's long-term replacement would be Gianni Infantino, who has so far struggled to advance FIFA beyond the reputation it has previously held. Infantino has been FIFA leader for 8 years and has presided over said World Cup in Qatar, defending the host nation and the conditions of workers at that tournament, sparking widespread criticism. FIFA remains a controversial and very unpopular organization, with billions of soccer fans struggling to put their faith in the organization after the scale of corruption which has been uncovered. Going forward, it remains to be seen if FIFA can regain this trust, or if bribery and general corruption are likely to continue in the near future and beyond. But what do you think? Is FIFA still a corrupt organization with serious cleaning up to do? If you would like us to discuss more of FIFA's historic corruption, let us know in the comments.